Shlump.
Hey everyone, it's me, Shlump, and I'm finally back with the Steam Deck. I know it's been a long time since I last uploaded, and that's because I want to change my content over to the Steam Deck. But I stupidly assumed that it would come out in December. I mean, that is what they told us. That was the planned release date for it. But like everything these days, it got delayed. It got delayed by 2 months until February. So I had to wait a lot longer for that. And then I stupidly assumed that I would be one of the first people to get it, but that's also not what happened. I only got it a few days ago. So I'm back now. The wait is over. And I'm going to be making a lot of Steam Deck content now. I'm going to be pushing stuff out, trying to get like multiple videos out a week. So I'm going to be back in full force. And this video is just going to be like my initial thoughts on the Steam Deck. There is a lot to go into, and I'll definitely go into deeper discussion in later videos. But this is just like a brief initial impressions video. So yeah, I have a Steam Deck now. I got the 512 gigabyte version of it, the highest option of it, and it's really freaking cool. I like it a lot. I do have some problems with it, and I'll get into that very shortly. But overall, I think it is a great step forward for gaming. We're like combining the Switch with a PC into one, so now it's both. And I think it's just a win-win for everybody, especially for the Linux community, because this is just like a godsend for them. They're going to have so much games get Linux support through Proton, which is what the Steam Deck uses to play a lot of its games, because the Steam Deck runs on Arch Linux, and a lot of games have not previously been able to run on Linux. Most games are designed for Windows. But now with this tool called Proton, which was out before the Steam Deck was out, but its significance has become a lot greater since the Steam Deck has been announced, because the Steam Deck uses Proton. Proton, it's like a translation algorithm for taking Windows games and putting them into Linux form so that Linux can play them. So you get slightly less performance than if you're playing them natively, but it's still super impressive what it's able to do, and it's only getting better and better every single day. It's getting updated so fast. And the Steam Deck too, like, there are a lot of features that are still coming to the Steam Deck. It's not fully baked right now. It still needs some more time in the oven, but Valve is pushing out so many updates, like multiple updates a week, to try to get it where it should be. And it is sad that it's not where it should be software-wise right now, especially because it was delayed by 2 months. So I was hoping the delay would help make the product be more refined when it came out. But it still has a lot of work that needs to be done on it. But Valve is hard on work at it. And the people at Proton are working hard as well, because they're not doing it just for Steam Deck. They're doing it for all of Linux gaming. So this is a great time for Linux gamers. One of the things I was interested about the Steam Deck was that it doesn't use Windows, it uses Linux, and I hate Windows. Like, I do not like using PCs, specifically Windows. It's just such a frustrating experience, and when I saw what the Steam Deck could do, I was super interested, because it looks like it's just, the software looks like it's Windows, except not Windows, like all the bad stuff of Windows removed, and just the good parts of Windows. Like, the software is pretty familiar to most people. I think they would get the hang of it pretty quickly. But there are still some caveats, like if you want to run an exe file or a .msi file, like a Windows file, you have to add it to your Steam library first. That's how you get Proton to run it. If you don't do that, Proton's not going to do anything, and you won't be able to open it. Otherwise, you have to find like a native Linux version of it. So that can be tedious. The mouse that I use that I've connected to the Steam Deck via a USB dongle, it's a Corsair product. So it uses the Corsair IQ software, whatever, to like mess with the settings of it, because it doesn't have onboard memory. So when I connect it to a device, most of the settings that I have customized on it aren't saved. They only get put on it when the IQ software is open. But problem is, the IQ software is Windows only. There's not a Linux version. So I can't use that on the Steam Deck, and so my mouse doesn't have all the macros and the settings and DPIs on it that I want, and the RGB lighting. And I have tried putting it through the Steam Proton compatibility layer, but nothing seems to happen, because the Proton thing is not a guarantee. Like, not all games are going to work on the Steam Deck very well. There is a varying level of support, which is why Valve has like a verified program that they have. You'll see on the store now, when you look at on the Steam store, when you're looking at a game on there, it'll have like a verified rating on it tell you how well the game will play on Steam Deck and if it has any caveats to it, the user experience or not. So some games are verified, some are not. And you really just gotta try them because some games that aren't verified, they still do work perfectly well. Either because Valve just hasn't tested them yet, or because there is one thing in them that Valve considers not to be good, but it actually ends up being fine. Like Halo Master Chief Collection, I have Halo 4, and it says it's not verified at all. And Valve says this because the anti-cheat is not compatible with the Steam Deck, so you can't play online, but you can launch the game in anti-cheat disabled mode, which means you can still play the campaign and single-player content. You just can't take the game online, so you can't play multiplayer. But the campaigns work perfectly. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's still amazing. So what you're seeing on screen right now, and I got a capture card for the Steam Deck so I could get some good-looking footage and not be, like, recording my screen with a camera and have it look really crappy. But let me know how you think this looks. I feel like it looks a little choppy, the frame rate. The game's supposed to be at 60, and it was really smooth. There wasn't any frame rate bumps here, any frame rate dips, so it should be smooth. But when I look at the footage in post, it looks a little choppy to me. So let me know what you think. If it is choppy, shoot me some ideas on how to fix it, because I have tried everything in the settings of OBS. I really don't know what to do. I am really new to like the video capturing stuff and this whole OBS and capture card stuff. So let me know what you think about it. And the video is supposed to be blurry. It's running off the Steam Deck in the handheld game mode. I don't know what to call it. There's like the desktop mode and there's like the game mode. You can run desktop mode on the handheld mode, but this is in the handheld mode, so it's at 800p right now. It's a little confusing. Like there's like the handheld mode and the desktop mode, they're not completely connected. So when you switch between the two, stuff will like change a bit. It's not like one seamless experience. It's basically like two different systems in one. And it can cause some weird things to happen. There are a lot of like software quirks and stuff. Like I was downloading an 80 gigabyte zip file from Mozilla Firefox. And I was using Firefox because I wanted to use Opera GX, but that doesn't work on the Steam Deck either. Another thing that doesn't work, kind of like the IQ software. But anyways, I was downloading an 80 gigabyte zip file. It was taking hours and hours. Right near the end of it, I decide, okay, I want to watch a YouTube video on the Steam Deck. So I plug in earbuds into the Steam Deck, and I have it docked on the TV. And for some reason, me plugging in earbuds made the Steam Deck decide to switch into the game mode, the non-desktop mode, which completely wiped all progress I had on the download. And it was super frustrating. Stuff like that you don't expect. And like sometimes when you press the power button, it doesn't turn off all the way. It's like weird. The volume slider can be super glitchy and laggy. It's things like that Steam needs to smooth out. And it is a factor that makes it kind of hard to recommend for people, especially like if you're used to Switch. The Switch is so much easier than this. There's a whole lot of setup to do to get the way you want to do. Like the possibilities are greater, but you have to know what you're doing. And I think you can very easily go wrong and mess up the Steam Deck software-wise, like for good. Like you could definitely do some damage to it if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not being careful. But I've talked about the software enough. What do I think about the hardware? I think it's really good. It feels really nice. The screen looks great. Some people were complaining that it's not 1080p, it's an 800p screen, but I think it looks fine. Like the Switch is only 720p screen, so 800p looks great. The speakers are really nice quality. I wish they were a bit louder though, but the Switch ones are also quiet as well, so it's not that bad. They're still good enough. It's not like they're quiet, they're just not loud. That's how I would describe it. The buttons feel really nice. The triggers and just the face buttons and the D-pad. The trackpads are weird. I'm not really a big fan of them. I can see why they're there to help with like mouse games and stuff. And I've heard on the Steam Deck Reddit subreddit that you have to customize them a bit to get them going in a way that feels comfortable and makes them feel natural. I don't think I'll do that because I don't think I'll be too interested in it. Just like I'm not gonna mess with the gyro because I'm not a big gyro fan in games. The buttons on the back, the idea is great, but I don't like the execution. I like the ones on the Hori Split Pad Pro on the Switch, so I'll throw a picture of those up there next to the Steam Deck. Those feel great. I like those. They're really soft, but these ones are just clicky, and it feels like it's hard to like continually hold them down. So like if I want to sprint Halo and I want to use the back button to keep me sprinting, it feels like it's hard to do. But I think the only problem I do have with like the buttons and control stuff is the sticks. I feel like the left stick is kind of hard to click it in and move up at the same time, so like sprinting the game. Hence why I wanted to use the back buttons to allow me to sprint and Halo. Battery life, I mean, people are complaining about it, but I don't mind it at all. I'm only going to get a few hours out of it because I want every game to look as good as possible while getting the most frame rate. And if the battery runs out, I'll just plug a battery pack in. But I know some other people aren't going to like that. But if you don't like that, you can limit the frame rate down to 30. And there's also 15 FPS mode. And I know Valve is making a 40 Hertz mode, which is going to be really interesting. And a video I'll talk about next. It's going to be up soon. I'm going to be putting out a bunch of videos. I already have one filmed already for The Witcher 3. It was before I got the captures software going. So it is filmed with just my phone. But it looks good enough, I think. Let me know what you think about it. After that, I don't think there should be any videos filmed like that. It should all be like straight screen capture directly. So that should look good. I'm excited about that because I never had anything like that before. This video is going on for a lot longer than I thought it would go, so I appreciate if you've made it this far. I don't know how much there is left to say, but I do know that I'm going to be making a lot of Steam Deck content soon. I'm going to be trying to push them out multiple videos in a week. I'm going to be doing just like tips and tricks videos on how to use the Steam Deck properly, guide, tutorial videos. I'm going to be doing frame rate analysis for a whole bunch of games, like every game I can possibly try. There's going to be a lot of those. I'm going to do a review eventually. Like, this is just first impressions. I'm going to do like a full-on review eventually. So yeah, I have a lot of plans. And Valve just keeps adding more and more stuff to it. Like I said, 40 Hertz mode is coming soon. FSR is slowly being implemented. It's in a few select games right now, like Ghost Runner. I think that's one of the games. Hopefully it comes to all the games. Because I actually thought it would be in Witcher 3. I thought it would be a system-wide thing at first. But then I found out it's not. It's only in select games. And I think you can only do it in handheld mode. You need a game that allows you to scale the internal resolution up and down. It's not going to be just like a normal resolution thing, like set monitor resolution, because games at least in handheld mode, only give you like 3 options. It's like 768p, 720p, and then like 800p. So FSR isn't going to do anything for that. And then for desktop mode, FSR isn't even there at all, which doesn't make any sense because that's where you're going to want it, right? Because when you plug in the Steam Deck to a TV, it doesn't get any more power. It's still just as powerful as it ever was. But so some games are going to struggle with like 1080p. You don't want 800p on a TV because nowadays on any size TV that's not going to look good. Maybe you need like a CRT for that. No one wants that. You want at least 1080p. But the Steam Deck is not going to be able to give you that in every single game. So it's really sad to see that FSR is missing from desktop mode. But I bet it probably will be there very soon. Alright, this video has gone on for way too long. I still have plenty of stuff to say about the Steam Deck, but I'll have to save that for another time. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, you're a legend. If you're a subscriber to the channel who watched when I was doing PS5 videos, I'm sorry, I won't be doing those anymore. I just came to a point where I didn't really want to make them anymore, and I was just doing them because I felt like I had to, not because I wanted to. And as a content creator, when you get to that point, when you're not having fun and enjoying making the content that you're making, that's when you gotta stop, because it's supposed to be fun, right? If you're not having fun, then what's the point? So it's good to take a break if you're not really into it, but now I'm into it, the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is the future now, and it will be the future of my channel. I've got plenty of videos planned, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe, share with your friends. All that stuff you heard before, yada, yada, yada. Thank you, and I'll see you next video.